Warning, the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised. Previously on this week's episode.
Since the last time we recorded, the new Dragon Ball show has begun to exist. Really? So I have been up to current on Dragon Ball Daima. But the one that I wanted to talk about was something I've been slowly rewatching in the background and has just gotten to the point where it has started getting really good again, is I jumped back into watching the original Dragon Ball. Well, not really.
All right, cool.
I'm just kidding. It's freaking great. I would like to talk about X-Men 97.
Yes.
Have you watched any of it yet?
No.
I've been pretty well sold on the new season. It is not Law and Order at its best, but it is also not Law and Order at its worst. And welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. I am Kris.
I am Evan.
And this is episode 290.
Wow.
You're going to do it until you're 290.
Wow.
For the week of August 19th, 2026. We're back, and so are Marvel's Merry Mutants. Nevin and I are going to talk about the latest season of X-Men 97. How is it compared to the first? Let's find out. But first, how the heck are you?
Not too shabby, my friend. You know, plugging along. It's wicked hot down here. Like, we are in...
It's been pretty nasty up here, too.
I mean, I think today it hit 115.
Oh!
And that's
Has it also been humid? Because that's what's been killing us here. It's been like mid-90s, but the humidity is like... basically swamp ass. It's just
it's jello. Like, that's how it is. Like,
it's atrocious.
Yes, when the rating goes from, like, 88% humidity to JELLO, you know it's bad. But
yeah, it's just like walking outside and it's demoralizing.
So
wow, the game just started and the Phillies are already up 1-0. That's the best they've performed in weeks.
Was it a gimme? Did they just say, hey, we're just because you're doing so well, you showed up on time, we're going to give you a free run? No? It's not how baseball...
I don't know. So they're doing... I have no idea if this is a regular thing or not. I don't know if I sound weird because I'm turning around because my TV's behind me. This is the Field of Dreams game on Netflix. So it's a regular season game, but it's like...
in a cornfield?
I don't know. It's in a cornfield, I think, or... Yeah. Somewhere near a cornfield? I'm not sure I understand. Yeah, no, it's totally in a cornfield. Yeah, they just panned up the camera. This is in a cornfield.
I remember something, like, I'm not a sports ball person, but I remember them doing that, I want to say a couple of years ago, like, they started that, and all of the ball players came in to play the game via the cornfield, which, that's nice and all, but it seems a little excessive.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. There was like a corn toss or something yesterday or today. I don't know. But yeah, this is so it's on Netflix. Usually I get the Phillies on NBC, but this special presentation is on Netflix. My friend Greg was going to come over and watch it because he doesn't have Netflix, but he got a Netflix login from a friend of his, so he is elsewhere.
I would rather admit to my piracy than someone say that they shared a Netflix account. Oh my god!
And that's just awful. This is just rude. Sharing a Netflix code. What kind of scumbag would do that?
What kind of people are you associating with, Kris? Surround yourself with a higher quality of scum and villainy.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I just finished the final episode approximately 18 minutes ago of this season of X-Men.
So it's fresh.
And hold on, I have to talk quietly because I cheated on my wife with it because we were 3 episodes behind and I was trying to wait for her. And she never, whenever we sat down to watch something, it ended up being a horror movie. And it just, so don't tell Angela, okay? Whatever you do. So like it's funny because I watched them on the Plex and then I went back and marked them as unwatched. She'll never know.
You have that power. See, I was gonna suggest if we had more time to have like do a previously on this week's episode, previously on this week's episode, and then do a whole like I don't know, play a bunch of clips from old episodes, and then like do the whole fade in with the intro music.
I could maybe try to work something like that in. I'll see what I could do. Just pick random episodes, just snippets, nothing cohesive at all.
No context. Yeah, nothing cohesive. Don't even dream of it.
So I do have thoughts. So I want I want to talk about this. I know when we talk cartoons, I usually get hung up on the art style or the artistry. And I felt like I was going crazy watching the show because I kept feeling like the art style kept changing. Like they had different production crews. Like one episode would look fan-fucking-tastic and then the next one would be like a phone-in. Like, is that just me?
I did not notice any inconsistencies. It's better looking than What If by 8 trillion miles.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any gripes about the way this show looks. Other than it's like cleaner than the old show, but the old show was also super inconsistent. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just trained to not look for it as much.
We'll talk more about it, but there was when Polaris showed up on screen and she was fighting, I was like, holy shit, this looks fantastic. And then I was wowed. And then it just went back to normal X-Men 97. So, but
I think they do that thing that a lot of, I have to guess that they do that thing where old cartoons used to do was like, they'd put the animation budget into, action sequences.
Okay.
And then like the rest of it just kind of like phone in a little bit. I don't know. I have no proof that that's what's happening, but it seems like I've definitely watched cartoons, probably like anime. That's definitely happened where it's just like, all right, 2 characters are talking, nothing's happening. But as soon as the fights start, that's when like, there's the animation.
It's not as egregious in like some cartoons where it would be like, it's hand drawn animation and all of a sudden like it becomes like the Batmobile driving and it's obviously computer generated. It's not that.
Oh my god. If they ever do a Spider-Man the way that this show is, because this exists in the same universe as that old Spider-Man cartoon, because that was that show to a T. It'd be like Spider-Man swinging through the city in front of like 1990s TV cartoon CG, but he's still hand drawn.
Yeah.
It looks so absolutely ridiculous. If they bring that show back like they did X-Men 97, it has to maintain that look, and I want to see it so bad.
Tangent. There was a current running Spider-Man show that had a similar art style to this, but it was computer animated, but it felt, we'll call it retro or vintage. Friendly Neighborhood.
That was the point of it. I never watched it.
It was fine. It was an interesting take on it. Unique art style, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I apologize.
It's kind of what we're here to talk about.
Well, that's Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We did that already, I think.
Right. Any hoozles.
Yeah,
I can't say I was ever distracted by the animation. I had boy, this season was a ride.
It was a fast ride.
It was a fast and sometimes kind of disjointed ride. Like,
okay, yeah.
It just seemed like think about where this season started versus where we are, and how much happened. Just like from episode to episode, like, and this is something we could have stretched into an entire arc, but
so
nope, we're doing it in one take.
As we were watching it, I felt like when the season, like when they at the end of season 1, they say, "Hey, we're going to give you a season 2. Congratulations, you're coming back. But next season, we're going to give you 37 episodes. So plot it out accordingly. You need to fill up an OG cartoon season." And then they said, "Wait, never mind. Sorry, 9." Because they're like, some of them felt like they were in fast forward story wise.
Yeah, seriously, like things went by too quickly. And the penultimate episode was, I think, what hurt me the most with that, because last week's episode because we had been building up to Gambit, right? You know, we knew that from the end of last season. That's what we were building up to. And in the same episode, we get Death Gambit, but we also get him no longer being Death Gambit in the same episode. Like, we never really got to have him as a villain.
Right. Yes.
And, like, of course we knew, or at least I knew in my heart, they were eventually leading towards Gambit being saved, because why bring him back to life if that's not going to happen eventually? But to not spend any time with Dark Gambit like that, it really, really bugged me.
I mean, for me, it started with the whole Weapon X episode where Wolverine was going back to get his adamantium because it was yoinked out of him the season before.
Yeah, they did Fatal Attractions in like 14 seconds. It was okay. All right.
Like, it's funny because like every episode was like, oh shit, I remember. And I'm not the biggest X-Men comic reader because there was so much of it. I touched upon like the big stories and whatnot, but like I remember the Danger. I remember that being a lengthy story, not 4 panels in a single book, like episode 6 was. Like all of a sudden, Danger's there, and then Danger's gone.
there. Like that was a thing. It was complicated. It just kind of like, okay, and then they just started calling Cerebro the next episode. All right. So we're just not going to talk about this. Things are just happening. Okay.
I do like the fact that they covered a lot of the milestones of the 90s X universe kind of thing. Like, I wish that they had the room to spread out and flesh out the stories a little bit longer, or I'm not going to say better because it was just fast. They didn't do them poorly. They just did them quickly. But it seems like they went through 10 years of comics in 9 episodes, that's a lot. That's a lot of stories.
Yeah, it was a bit too ambitious there as far as like how far they wanted to go. And like I'm glad they eventually got back to their own time, but also like I was watching a recap thing and they mentioned that there were 14 members of the team now. Okay. And it's like, remember in season 1 where like recruiting Sunspot was this big deal, and now he's just there and there really isn't anything to do with this character. He's just there. Colossus is just, he's there. He's not on the team. He's just hanging out with the kids, apparently. Like,
I mean, he was on a different team for a minute and then, came aboard.
It's the original show stuck to that core group of characters and then would add, for like an episode or two, like add extras and then bring them back and whatnot, because that's what works for something of this format. When you start adding so many more characters, like it's great that Lorna's there, but having her be a full-time member of the team, Bishop a full-time member of the team, Forge being a full-time member of the team is super weird to me because of the way he existed in the original show.
Right.
He was just in the future with Bishop, and now he's here, and it's weird.
And it's a love interest. It feels like they're trying to make him more. I mean, he was an important character in certain storylines, but like that's Storm's boo now. Like that's kind of a weird shoehorn into this. Like why? Okay.
I feel like that happened at some point in the comics, maybe.
Which is fine. Know. But what I'm saying is
again, it's like
such a truncated show. You don't need to put that part in. Kind of thing.
His whole thing in the last season was like he helped her get her powers back, and like so I get that, but like him being enough of a member of the team to be in the opening credits, like, look, this season was phenomenal. All right, I don't want to think that I did not love it. It's just that there are some cracks starting to show. Of you got to keep this reined in. X-Men is super complicated, and what made the cartoon work, like the original animated series work as well as it did, was that it knew how to treat it with, I guess, as kind of a kids show. And that's really not what X-Men 97 is aiming to be. It's definitely not aimed at kids. It's aimed at the kids, the people who were kids when the original show was on. And that's good, except if you're going to do this, they're shoving so much in there when not enough of an episode count. Like the fact that this was 9 episodes is just absolutely ridiculous. It's a freaking cartoon. Stop. Come on.
And it's a 30-minute cartoon.
Big budget.
It's not long.
Exactly. They're short episodes. So what are we doing? It's why of all the things to not give more to? Why this? Why on earth this? I know you're not paying the voice actors a ton. Like, I don't think Cal Dodd costs a whole shitload of money. Like, this.
So I want to touch. Like, it's funny that you bring that up because I thought the voice cast. Because there was a lot of reference to the previous show. I think the voice cast for most of the characters was perfect. Okay, everybody returning did a great job for me, except one, and Lauren Zahn, Rogue's voice. She sounds so much older. She sounds too old, which it was like jarring because, like, especially like when she's interacting with Gambit, like he sounds youthful, if you will. Yeah, and it was like I know I appreciate what you did to bring her back, but here's the problem. I think she needed to quit smoking a couple of years ago. What's it? I like what they did with a handful of the other characters, and I'm trying to piece together which ones are which. Like in the last season, the original Jubilee voice actor played the future Jubilee that she met. Which is nice. Cable is voiced by Kris Potter, who, if I'm not mistaken, he looks a little young. But nope, he was the voice of Gambit. He was the voice of Gambit in the original series. Yeah. But since Gambit sounds so much older now, he's now voicing Cable. And the original Jean Grey is also voicing a character in the new show, and now I can't remember who it is. Oh, she's voicing what's her name? The lady in charge of X Factor. I can't remember her name. Val Cooper. Wait. Yeah, Val Cooper. That sounds about right. Yeah. Catherine Disher. Yes, is Jean Grey's voice in the first season. Man, Plex is she's amazing. Val Cooper. She's playing Val Cooper. It's like that's a really cool way to keep those voices around. Like Cal Dodd definitely sounds older, but yes, it's Wolverine. Till you're 90, make it work. He's Wolverine. It's okay. I will put up with a little bit of like slur in his speech for that just unmistakable 90s Wolverine voice. And George Buza is still playing Beast. And he sounds almost the same. Close enough. That's great. Speaking of Beast,
Go ahead.
In the original show, did he always wear that neck cuff? Like every
No,
time?
that's just in that new those new outfits. Because in the original show, he just had the Speedo, and that was it. And then once they opened up X Corp, he's like,
it was weird. Like why?
Yeah,
it looked like really like fucking really old timey kind of. But I figured I was wrong thinking that that's a thing that I should have been remembering from the past. But yeah, it's what I loved about the original X-Men 92, right? That's what it was, 92. They simplified the X-Men or the X-Men universe, but didn't make it simple, okay? It played to children, but it didn't feel like it was lacking. It made it the show was grand in a simplified way. What I feel like this show is trying to do is get that grandeur, but it doesn't have enough runway to make that happen. And it feels like they're being shortchanged. I don't feel like I was shortchanged. I feel like I got every bit of the story that I was supposed to. Like, I feel that like they should have been given more time to flesh out some of these stories, because I feel like it would have been better. Like we could have gotten so much more depth into the characters. Like, all right, Morph is great that Morph is around, okay? But the only thing that Morph did for this season and most of the season before was give me the, ooh, look, he changed into that character. That's it. Like, he was every episode just popped in as like the last one I saw, he was like Doc Ock. Like, okay, that's cool. Like, I don't know what his purpose was in this season when
the only thing he did something in was that one episode where they went to go get Wolverine's adamantium back, and he was there to kind of be the, I don't know, he was kind of like there to be Wolverine's moral compass.
Sure.
But like, he was only really there for that one episode. And that's what's interesting about Morph, is that in the original show, he was written to die. He was invented for the show so that they could kill him off. And then they brought him back, but he was never a regular on the show. He was one of those revolving extra characters, and now having him be a part of the core team makes sense from a narrative perspective, and it's neat to have him around, but also he's like one of a handful of other new characters that are just a part of the team, which really makes it makes this show lose a bit of its focus. I think doing one more character would be fine, and that one more character should be Morph, but like, I have asked myself since the premiere of X-Men 97, what the hell is Bishop even doing here? Why is he here?
To yell at people, to bring up the level of anxiety in the room at all times. Like, because that man
take Bishop completely out of this show and replace his dialogue with any of the other characters, and you've lost nothing.
No. Yeah, nothing really changed.
Does not need to be on the team. Like, Forge can be around, maybe, I guess. He does not need to be there. Lorna does not need to be a part of the team. She's a cool character, but she doesn't need to be part of the team. I mean, it's great having Nightcrawler around. I'm not going to complain about Nightcrawler. But also, like, the fact that Morph's power set in this show is also really interesting. That he doesn't just morph into different characters. When he morphs into them, he has their abilities too.
Yeah, their power.
That's really interesting.
Like in one of the final episodes, he changed into Wolverine and was fighting Psylocke with his claws. Like, that was
when Psylocke tried to stab Wolverine's head. He was like, "That's not going to work. I'm already nuts."
Yep. And that's okay. That's an overpowered character that they nerfed story-wise. Like, they didn't. He could have won all of it by just picking the right guy or gal to change into. They hardcore nerfed him down so that the rest of the team could be a part of the team, which is, I don't know much about I can't remember much about Morph from the previous show. But looking at him now, I was like, that's either he's being underused or should be just like slid out of the roster, because like you're not using him properly as a team, not necessarily in the cartoon. Like the team members are like not using him right.
I'm okay with him just from a show perspective being the comic relief. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how he worked in the first, Night of the Sentinels before he died.
Right.
I'm really okay with him being that. I don't love the him being in love with Wolverine subplot that they've been kind of stuffing in here in a little bit in the last season, a little bit in this season, and like it's my understanding that was a very Bo DiMaggio self-insertion kind of a thing, and I don't know, it's kind of odd, but whatever. It doesn't seem to add anything. Like that doesn't seem to add anything to the overall show, and that's therefore I don't really care about it. Similar to Storm and Forge. Yep. Don't care. I don't need that to be a thing.
There was the only relationship that actively really matters is, Jean and
Jean, Scott, Logan, love triangle.
Like, that's the only one that
and
matters.
Let's not forget Charles and Moira McTaggart, which
So how many poor decisions does Rogue have to make in relationships before she just stops? Because like girl is getting her boys killed, and I don't know why, but it was for me really creepy with her relationship with Magneto.
Her and Magneto was so creepy to me. Like this dude's there's an age gap here. It's like I get it, but like he's old.
And it's funny. So like we'll just sidestep for a half a second because we are currently recording this episode right after they released a Spider-Man movie that is starting the next X-Men story. Okay, like spoilers. Right. We all know if you're paying attention. The X-Men will be in the Marvel Universe very, very soon. It is how much longer can Magneto be from the time period that the comic book is from before he has aged out? Does that question make sense?
How much longer can he be a Holocaust survivor?
Yeah,
I think that's done. I think we're done with that.
Okay.
I think wherever they do with creating these characters new in the MCU, we're not going to get that anymore. And I have a lot of interesting thoughts about where the X-Men are going to be in this. The thing I've been seeing online a lot is like, ew, they're really going to pair Sadie Sink and fucking Hugh Jackman together? Like, no. No. What do you? First off, if Hugh Jackman is still going to be playing Wolverine until he's 90, they're going to make him Old Man Logan, and there will be a younger person playing Wolverine again. Like that's just going to have to happen because that's the way that's going to work. And two, you don't need to have the Logan Jean Scott love triangle to make X-Men work.
Yeah.
You don't. X-Men Evolution is proof positive of that. In that show, Scott and Jean were kids, and Logan was of the teacher generation. So that whole thing just didn't exist in that show, and that was fine. In fact, it was great. So it doesn't need to be there.
Okay. Because in this cartoon, they referenced him being a Holocaust survivor quite often until he was gone.
In X-Men 97, yes. In the original show, I don't remember them doing that ever.
Yeah, but in this
I don't think was Magneto always a Holocaust survivor in the comics? Because I don't remember that at all. I feel like the name of Eric Lenscher didn't really happen until closer to when the X-Men movie happened.
And that's the problem with brains, is we've watched and consumed so much content, it just becomes like a pudding inside of the frontal lobe, and to differentiate where we got the information from is becoming quite difficult. But to me, I have seen young Magneto bend a fence while he was being tore away from his family. And I'm not 100% sure if that was in the cartoon, in the movies, or the TV shows or whatnot, but it happened at some point in time.
Let's see. So, according to the internet, no. When he first appeared in X-Men in the 60s, he was, quote, just a standard power-hungry supervillain with no detailed backstory. Let's see. It's a retcon of some type. Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, number 150. He mentions being a Holocaust survivor, but I don't know if that was the first appearance of it. But either way, Magneto's kind of a weird dude, right? Because well, I guess you can sort of get away with it, because didn't at a certain point he take the super soldier serum, which is why he's all buff but also old?
I have in what the comic?
In the comics, yeah.
I have no idea. I need you to understand, there are so many X-Men comics that I said no. Like, no. Wolverine at one point in time had at least 5 concurrent running series, which is fucking nuts. Like, that's too many. And not including, like, current X-Men was yellow, red, blue. Like, I'm glad that they're making money, and I'm glad that they're still making stories, but no, I can't. My brain's too old. But when I don't do that, and then I watch like this cartoon and I get to see the classic costumes that I remember, or the classic storylines that I have some sort of inkling of knowledge, like that makes it more enjoyable for me, as opposed to, I would assume, someone who is a diehard X-Men fan going, oh shit, Danger EXE should have been, they missed this and they fucked this up and her dreads were not like that. Like, I don't want that. I don't need that for a fun X-Men cartoon. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to be 100% just representing the comics. I like them to take those liberties and tell original stories based around those comic book stories. That was what was so much fun about watching the cartoons when we were kids, with X-Men or Spider-Man or even Iron Man and Incredible Hulk. Like, I didn't know much about those comic book stories, but you could see this show and get these condensed versions of those stories, and then go track down the comics that they were based on and be like, cool. But the problem, to get back to what we were talking about with specifically X-Men 97, the problem that we're running into here is that those stories are now becoming too condensed. Like, instead of like the first chunk of this season, when they were back in the old days and dealing with En-Sabah and all that, that felt like it had enough room to breathe and tell its story. And then the rest of the season was just like, go. Gotta get here. The pacing of the rest of the season just became one-shot episodes that didn't really kind of deal with a singular overarching narrative the way that it should, I guess. Like, it was just weird. And it's by the time, again, the Remy thing is what bugs me so much. Gambit is my favorite X-Men character. Okay. Yeah, has been since I was a kid. I fucking love Gambit. That's why you gave me the Gambit Lego figure at your wedding. Like, I'm aware. He's my favorite. I fucking love Gambit. And when they killed him in the last season, I was wrecked, but it was amazing. It was such a great episode. And the fact that the name's Gambit, remember it. Like, he said that in the original show, and God, it just took on a whole new meaning, and I didn't see it coming. I never would have guessed that they were going to kill off Gambit. I just never would have guessed. And then at the end, I saw the card, and I was like, they're going to do the Gambit death thing from the comic books, which I don't know much about that. I know that it happened, but it came from a period of time when I wasn't reading comics. I had no idea that happened. Like, when we were watching it, like, we did that thing where we're sitting there watching and reach over for the phone to Google it. And I'm not going to lie, Gambit with a purple scythe is one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. What a great design. And that's another thing that's so tragic about how underused he was. Like, God, when he's in that creepy black persona, using tarot cards instead of playing cards, like,
this is so unbelievably cool. The fact that they didn't end the season on him showing back up and then doing another season that involves like this story where it ultimately ended with Gambit coming back to life properly. That could have been a whole other season worth of his villainy, and then him eventually turning back. It could have been an entire season.
Yes.
And it going by that they built the entire season up to this moment that lasted like half an episode was just hugely disappointing.
It's wild because now, like, I'm going back to look at the icons for the first season's episodes, and there was a lot of filler in season 1, like the Mojo episode, the whole episode of Storm's love with Forge and the giant bird owl thing that she was, the spirit bird that she was fighting. Like those were filler episodes.
But they were world building filler episodes. They were filler episodes similar to the filler episodes in the original series, in that they all touched on something that gave character progression to the core cast of characters. The Jubilee Mojo episode was exactly what filler episodes should have been, because what that did was it introduced how Jubilee is now becoming a useful member of the team. In the original series, she threw a little fireworks around, but most of the time she didn't do anything. She got kidnapped and stuff.
Right.
Like
she was the
damsel in distress.
Yeah.
She was the useless kid character. And now they're evolving her powers. She's learning how to do things better. And that episode was about introducing that, about putting that on the table of this is how Jubilee is going to get to be a more interesting character and a more useful character in this show. So yes, it was filler, but it did what filler is supposed to do.
So I feel
just like the Wolverine getting his adamantium back was kind of a one-shot weirdo fillery sort of thing, but also like it progressed his story for an episode. And that's what we should be doing. But it needs more of that, because there are now too many other characters. You've got this sort of love interest between Bishop and Lorna for some reason, two characters that don't need to be there. Like, they told an interesting enough story, but you've already got characters. You already have a core cast of characters that are being underserved. Wolverine had that one episode, but he wasn't really in a lot of this season.
Nope.
Your core cast of characters is being underserved because you keep adding more to the cast. And in the comics, that's how you get in that situation where you're reading 6 books, because they just keep adding characters. Like, well, the roster's too big. Now we've got X-Men Blue, X-Men Yellow, Excalibur, X-Force, X-Factor. You're just going to keep expanding the teams and give them their own books, because there's so many characters, because you can't just keep track of that large of a cast of characters in a series this episodic without having a bajillion episodes or starting to make other characters feel shortchanged. You could be doing more with Morph, but you don't have room.
You don't have the room.
There's no time.
Right. I mean, I feel that they did Nightcrawler some justice. Like, they fleshed out his character pretty well. I mean, underutilized for except for towards the very end of the season for fighting, because he is a phenomenal fighter. He was more used, in my opinion, for story throughout the episode, but then he got his, fucking... When he fights with swords on his tail, like, come on.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, that was... Him and Wolverine teaming up at the end of last season was... Oh, chef kiss. It was brilliant.
So, I mean, I don't want you to... when I say filler episodes, I'm saying that and in I don't want to say a positive way. It's just not a negative way. Filler when there's so many characters, like you said, filler episodes help. In this season 2, I don't feel like there was enough filler because they kept
Right, it was kind of competing against itself, right? Because this one seemed to want to do the thing that TV series do, where it's like, no, this series is just a really long movie that's been chopped up into a bunch of episodes, and that's not what X-Men has ever been. X-Men has been like, you got a couple of like 2-3 parters, but it's very episodic. It's very monster of the week kind of thing. That's, has a little piece to an overarching narrative that will eventually get concluded in the end, but this one was just like, all right, here's the first chunk of episodes that are playing out like a big-ass movie, and then we know where we're going, but we're not really going to get there because we've got the whole X-Factor thing, the whole X-Force thing, the whole X-Corp thing, on top of the Apocalypse thing. It was just one too many things that weren't resolving. They seemed like there was like, here's all these overarching narratives instead of doing one, and then here's some little guys we can cross off the list from time to time.
Yes,
and so the filler just didn't work because the filler was like, okay, but you've built this around being this one big movie, and now this feels more like an interruption than just the next chapter or the next issue per se.
I concur with that. Yeah, but I mean,
that overall, said, how fucking cool was that X-Force intro when they redid the intro music to be like more heavy on the guitars and made it an X-Force intro? Yes. Oh, that was so good.
I like it when they play with the intro.
This season had some really cool moments in it.
I mean, visually, it was like when I say things about the art style and whatnot, it's because I have a true love for artistry. There was nothing bad. I didn't see anything wrong with the way they did this show. The beauty in which they put into the fight scenes was top notch. The power sets, the way they visually explain them, like fucking Cable's overpowering power set that kept fluctuating. I mean, fantastic. Give me more of that. I like seeing him as a telepath, psychic, mental power guy, as opposed to just a guy who shoots shit. It was so well done in so many ways that I feel bad saying that there were certain things that I did not like because of it was just me wanting more kind of a situation.
It's for me, it's like I have all these, I'm so adamant about these complaints because like the show was so close. It's like it was almost just so freaking out of the park fantastic, and instead it was just really good. Like I looked forward to it every week, man. Every single episode when it starts with the previously on X-Men and you do the recap and then like it ends and it goes into that like really cool drum fade into the brilliant new version of the one of the best cartoon theme songs ever. Every single week that got me riled up, but also it was 9 goddamn episodes. That's not enough.
Season 1 had 10, which was like at least give me the same amount. Like you shortchanged me one episode. Me that
because this show was a rousing success. Why are we cutting the seasons short? For crying out loud!
I don't know.
Looking at the original show, season 1 was 13 episodes. The original show, season 1, 13 episodes, which that should be your minimum. Right. Okay? That should be your absolute minimum for X-Men 97 is a 13-episode season. 8 episodes is absurd. Season 2 was 13. Season 3 was 19 episodes, right? Because by that point, this show was just an out-of-control success. Season 3 was where we got the... is that where we started the Phoenix Saga?
Hold on.
That had the Phoenix Saga in it.
Yes.
And that was the apex.
Remember Starjammers? Holy shit.
Hell yeah. That was the apex of this show's success. And then season 4 was like, okay, that's kind of the end of it. That's as far as we got, right? That was like, hey, the popularity started to wane, and then season 5 was
It went
season
down to
5
14.
was season 5. Yeah, see, it was 14 episodes. The animation budget took a huge hit.
Yeah.
Like season 5, if you've never watched season 5 of the original X-Men, the animated series, it's almost a different show. It's kind of ugly a lot of times. It's very inconsistent. It's got some, let's say, interesting episodes, like Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater is like this famously just garbage episode of this show. Didn't exactly end on a high note.
Do you remember when in Scrubs they did the episode where they were in like a Ren fair?
I do, yeah.
I feel like that's what they were like. Every show, if it runs long enough, has that kind of episode, and that's what this one was.
Yeah, it was. The last season was not great.
Nope.
Really did not care for the last season of X-Men, the animated series. But they don't shy away from it. It's canon. That's where the X-Men 97 picks up right where Graduation Day leaves off, where Professor X goes to space to chill with Lilandra and get better. And they handled that brilliantly in the first season of X-Men 97. And again, season 2 was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just, we're criticizing something we love because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
I know we want it to be better. And hopefully next season it will be. They set up an interesting situation. We got freaking Creighton Creed as president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, boy, that kind of feels like watching this last season of The Boys, where it's just like every single time a new episode comes out, they're just like, look, we wrote this a year ago. We could not have possibly known that this statue was going to be like this prescient for the times. Like, we thought we were exaggerating.
How are we ever supposed to know that this would be true? Come on.
Yeah, like we thought we were going out on a limb here. So it's one, just you can't write this shit.
You can't make this shit up. No.
Art imitating life, not really on purpose. But yeah, so Graydon Creed, President of the United States, friggin' Mystique is infiltrating the government. We're gonna get some pretty serious X-Men versus the X-Men versus humans storylines coming up. I'm very curious where they're going with it. I just want them to have more episodes. A 13 episode season should be the absolute minimum for this show. It is a proven success. Knocking this down to 8 episodes was just wrong.
I would also like to make a request for the next season, especially because I feel you're right that it's going to be X-Men versus humans or governmental situation, like the X-Men versus the humans government. If we can figure out a different robot style to fight the X-Men as opposed to just that Sentinel look, I would love it, because every time the bad guys show up in some sort of mech suit, it is just a repurposed Sentinel design. I feel that they can do better.
Like, it's the Death Star. It's like, no, this is it. This is what we do.
This is the epitome of robot right here.
We're gonna get this right. One of these days, we're gonna get this right.
I can't. It was one of the final episodes. X Factor had a bunch of humans fighting in Sentinel
suits,
armor with gun, like they had rifle arms and shit. I'm like, oh, come on.
Of course they did. Here's another thing. This is a fun little coinky dink. So we're all pretty excited about Avengers Doomsday around this house. So I've been kind of background rewatching a handful of the movies and stuff that I hadn't seen multiple times since they came out. And I am currently slowly making my way through Eternals, which is really good.
You're watching it on your phone, I say.
Yeah, at the gym. Like when I go to like a certain time in the morning, I'll spend like a half an hour on the treadmill, and so I'm putting Eternals on to watch it there. Sometimes during lunch, but yes, most of the time it's just at the gym. But the fact that this season of X-Men 97 calls into, like, the Celestials are a big part of it is so wild that, like, I just happened to be watching, like, I just watched the part of Eternals where Cersei talks to, I can never remember the name of the Celestials because they're all insane, but the one that she talks to and then you get, like, the next day, X-Men 97 happens, and Rogue goes and talks to that Celestial in, like, almost the exact same way. I'm like, wow, this is, like, a really... Like, this is very specifically hearkening to the Eternals movie. That's very cool that I just happen to be rewatching that right now to make this connection.
Right. Yeah.
Which is wild. They had... Kang was in this. Like, this is... When you go to Disney Plus, this is listed as part of the multiverse saga.
Wait.
Which...
97?
X-Men 97 is listed as a part of the multiverse saga.
Interesting.
So, it is interesting because it's making me think that even though it was Kelsey Grammer voicing him, I suspected at the time that maybe What's-Her-Face, Monica Rambeau, wound up in the X-Men animated series universe at the end of the Marvels. Okay. I have no idea. Like,
okay.
We really don't know what's going to happen with Doomsday, right? We know that the X-Men are a part of it, a big part of it, because they're all over the freaking trailer. But what flavor of the X-Men is that, right? Because Gambit's there. He was never in the old X-Men movies. James Marsden is wearing the Cyclops suit.
He wasn't.
What's that?
He was in a Wolverine movie.
Right, but that was Taylor Kitsch. And that was...
Right. Oh, no, not the better, not this, not this version.
Not the
of
Channing Tatum
the one
that was played for comedy in Deadpool and Wolverine. Because, like, I'm nervous about this because I fucking loved him in that because of that, because of that specific joke. He was played for comedy. It was, he had been trying to get that Gambit movie made for ages. He finally gets to play the character, and like his accent was so ridiculous, they made it work. But this is not him being played for comic relief. No. He looked fantastic in the trailer, so I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that this continues to work out. But I also have I have a lot of questions about where what universe is this Gambit from?
I was thinking about this because I haven't done a serious rewatch I mean, it's massive. It's a massive universe, and it's really a daunting task to think about rewatch. Like you had made comment about trying to get your kids caught up, and you have made it. You've shown them up to a certain point, and like what's left is still a daunting task. Like if I was to go back and try to rewatch it, like it's too much. But what I would love, because they are heavily involving the multiverse and all of that stuff, I would love for like the first half of however long this saga goes, the original, like the stuff that we've already seen, introduce these people, and then to continue it on their multiversal counterpart. So like have Gambit there as what's his name? I can't remember.
Channing
Tatum there for the first half of the movie, and then show in some way, shape, or form an obvious change to a different universe's Gambit, so that they can make him younger, make him more appear, like whatever. And if they were to just check that off, like a different Wolverine, or like pop down the line, just because I would like those Easter eggs, I would like to see those things. I don't know how good of a movie that would be, but I would like to see that.
My suspicion is that, the X-Men Fox universe, this is the incursion. That's what's coming over, and that's what the Avengers are going to have to fight. By the end of this and/or Secret Wars, all those characters are toast, except the Deadpool contingent, the Laura and Logan and Deadpool. Like, I think everybody else from the Fox universe dies, and those three get to stick around. And then you get Old Man Logan in coexisting with regular Logan, similar to how that happened in the comics, where Old Man Logan was just kind of there for a while. You get Laura as the new Wolverine of this universe.
X-23,
which, sign me up.
Yeah, she did great.
Daphne Keane, all day long. She's fantastic. And that kind of leads... and the rest of the characters are just going to be introduced as mutants just appearing in this universe for the first time, similar to how Jean Grey just showed up in Spider-Man, and Ms. Marvel is a mutant. I think we're going to keep seeing that slowly but surely happen in this universe. Because my suspicion is that that Jean at the end of Spider-Man, which like people are making such a big deal about her being like really not a good person. Like she was pretty fucked up and like it's Jean Grey. Like yes, in the cartoon she's pretty white bread, but Jean in the comic books ain't exactly Miss Perfect. Like that kind of redemption arc from somebody who like finds out she has unfathomable powers and has had nothing but shitty things happen to her. I think the story of that character becoming such a good character, I think that's a story worth telling and something that's interesting to watch as I think she's heading to Westchester at the end of that movie on that bus, and then she's going to meet Professor X. She's going to become one of his first students. He's going to start the school, and we're going to get Scott and whoever the hell else. I don't know who else the team is going to be, the first team of X-Men, but I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I am all for it. But I want to see them, introduce these characters naturally and, get nice young people that can play the roles for a good long while, because you start making the X-Men the center of your MCU, then you've got yourself, I think, pretty surefire hit.
You got
a lot of great stories. You got a lot of great opportunities. But they got to stop relying on these old Fox movies. Like they just have to stop relying on that. I thought Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be the end of that, but apparently it's not. We're getting one last ride out of Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, and I loved those guys in those roles, but they were like as old as they could have been to play those roles back in 2000. Like,
right.
They're ancient now, and that's okay, but it's not perfect for these roles. They've got to be young enough to have more going on, and I'm very curious who they're going to cast. And I really hope that they don't do any more relying on this old stuff. As a little side note, rewatching Eternals, and like the fact that they've done so little to even touch on that story was really bothering me earlier, because like they are introducing all these really interesting things that are happening. They're very much a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and like they won't touch the Eternals with a 50-foot pole, but they'll straight up reference the terrible Inhumans TV show in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You're going to follow up on that, but you're not going to touch the Eternals? Come on, guys.
Come on.
I'm sure more people saw Eternals than saw Inhumans on ABC.
I mean, I would agree with that statement, that is a very high likelihood. It's funny, like, so at one point in time, for all of the press that was going on, and Comic-Con happened and whatnot, and seeing Ryan Reynolds show up as Deadpool at San Diego. Did you see this?
Wearing his Jean Grey colored outfit.
So I feel it was a missed opportunity to call it a Canadian tuxedo, because that's what that is. Denim on denim, considered Canadian tuxedo. And he is Canadian. And it is Jean Grey as well. Like, there's so many things that tie in. When you're saying that Jean is heading off to Westchester, I want the beginning of the first X-Men to her knock on the door, and Wade is the one. Him and Yuki open the door. Hi, Yuki. Hi, Wade. Well, I mean, I think we've said enough about X-Men 97. We love the show. It's great. We hold it in a little bit higher of a regard, and we want a little bit more from it, because we know it has been there before story-wise, and it can do that if they gave it enough time and space to do that. They can do it. I just wish that they would.
Yeah, it was this was a 8.5 out of 10, right? Could have been a 10 out of 10. Missed the mark just a little bit, but still fantastic show. Just the biggest, hairiest thumbs up I've got.
I hope that if they continue down the line with multiple seasons, I hope they don't, because they are making it a thing where each season they are actively killing off a character, a beloved character, to then next season try to bring... I don't want Kurt back. Nightcrawler sacrificed himself for the good of the team and for the good of his sister. Let that be.
At least for a season or two.
All right. Well, I'm good.
Well, yeah. I'm good.
All right.
I feel we've done a good job of talking about X-Men 97. Go watch it. It's a great show.
Fantastic.
With that, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to... Did we come up with a name for this? Talking about what we've been watching?
What we've been watching? No,
Sure.
I don't know.
I feel like we were talking about kind of trying to come up with a silly name for it last time, but I have nothing in my notes. So, we'll talk about what we've been watching when we come back. You're listening to this week's episode from Geekade.com. Stick around. Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
All right, everybody, we're back and better than ever. So my all right, I have a few things that I really want to discuss before we get to proper TV talk. But first, before I get to the one thing that is really on my mind, how much water are you drinking?
Okay. So I have decided that I am course correcting I hit a certain number. I felt a certain way about my body. Then I looked at the number, which, you know, on that little fucking plate of death that sits on your on the floor in your bathroom, ruins everybody's day. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
I hopped on there and I was very unhappy. So what ends up, my course correction is 180 degrees. I fucking ruin my life, make myself miserable for like 4 months, and then I start getting back to a normal human way of doing things. So I don't normally drink a lot of water. I drink seltzers, and I'm backing off of that because of the bloating and gas that carbonated beverages do to everybody, whether you believe it or not. And I got this giant cup. It is a barrel of a cup. It has 32 ounces are in this cup, and I refill this thing at least 4 times a day. So 128 ounces of water. It's at least it's over a gallon of water a day, because I have a gallon. I have a plastic Arizona jug in my refrigerator that I refill with filtered water, because I have to filter the water out of my tap. And I keep refilling that and putting it in the fridge. The cup takes half a gallon. So every time I fill it,
I feel like that's too much.
I mean, I just pee it out. I have to distract myself. There's a thing called food noise, where your brain just wants food. When it becomes stagnant, you just think about food. And what I'm doing...
Yeah, that's me all day, every day.
Yeah, 100%. And what I'm trying to do to divert that, or to push it aside, is sweetened water. It's regular water with, like electrolytes. It's a squeezy bottle. Or... because I'm hardcore counting calories right now. So I'm rocking on a calorie deficit, and then so the app tells me a number that I'm supposed to be eating to be in a deficit. And then I go lower than that. Not because I'm Angela's getting worried because she keeps looking at the numbers. I'm like, look, I'm not hungry. I'm looking at numbers. If I'm hungry, I will keep eating. I'm not hungry. We're okay. I'm not dizzy. I'm not feeling fucking woozy or anything.
But just to play devil's advocate, her concern is not unfounded, because it's not just about whether or not you're hungry. It's about giving your body what it needs.
Oh, I'm getting
especially if you're
120 grams of protein every day. I am paying attention to what my body needs, not what it wants. Because if I was to give it what it wants, which I have been doing for a bunch of months previously, I become miserable, because I do love things like everything but Ben & Jerry's ice cream. That shit's the bomb. I can't do that.
Oh, yes. If I could have that for breakfast, I would. But, yeah.
So...
just as long as you're taking care of yourself.
Oh, yeah,
the water thing, I was doing definitely not a gallon a day. I don't think. When I was doing it super hardcore, and then it kind of became my understanding that too much water is just as counterproductive as not enough water, as far as overall health. And you want your pee to not be clear. You want it to not be yellow. You want it to be just a little yellow.
There's
so if you're peeing clear, you're doing it wrong. You gotta have just a touch of yellow in there.
So I just found out today that every once in a while I get a craving, I want something odd that's not candy or chocolate or whatnot. Today I craved pickles, and I don't know why. I might be pregnant, but I apparently had a jar of pickles in the back of my refrigerator. I pulled up my handy-dandy app, scanned it, and it says 0 calories per pickle. They became my new favorite.
Yeah, pickles are great.
Judgment-free.
A lot of sodium, but who cares?
Yeah.
Eat pickles. They're great.
With the amount of, we were just conversing about this during the break, with the amount of sweating that I'm doing first thing in the morning, I need to refill the sodium throughout the day, or I'm going to just dehydrate completely, shrivel up and die. Yeah, walking outside is not fun in North Carolina in August.
I do about 2 miles outside every day, and then probably another, usually about a mile equivalent in the gym 5 days a week. So
yeah,
and walking's great. Walking's it. That's the thing to do.
Yeah, this is total tangential, but I said, I used to get 20,000 steps a day when I was working at Sam's Club, and I no longer, because I just walked in a circle all day long in a giant building.
Right.
I don't do that anymore. I became sedentary, like the truest definition of sedentary. And I looked up and I found, different bits and pieces of information, and I gleaned as much as I could. And like the goal is 10,000 steps a day minimum. And if you could do that earlier, get it out of the way, do that. Great. That's what I do. And it helps that it's also the coolest time of the day down here. And at some point in time, if I can, I'm probably going to continue doing this into the next year. And if I hit summer again, I'm probably going to open up a gym membership so that I can do my 5 miles on an indoor treadmill, because like now there's a park right by my house that I walk. It's technically a figure 8, and I do that figure 8 times, and that's my 5 miles. That's 10,000 steps. Get back in my car, drive home, peel all the disgusting, fucking filthy clothing off of me, and then start my day. So, and I'm finding
you're still getting up periodically throughout the day, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I get up and I wander around the house because I work from home. And at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock, I get up. I gotta leave the house because I gotta go do something. So yeah, unfortunately, from 9 to 5, 9 to 4, I'm sitting at this computer staring at AutoCAD. So I'm not a fan of it.
Times.
It is what it is. But it seems to be working. I feel better. Other than in constant pain. Man, I remember back in my youth, like you did a workout and then like 2 days later you hurt, but then it was fine. Then the pain went away, and then you could continue doing that same workout over and over again, and you wouldn't hurt again because, your body got used to it. That's not how it's working anymore.
No, it is not. No, it
new and
is
impressive
very not.
Places are hurting. Like what? I couldn't sleep on my hip on my side the other night because it hurt so much. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's not joyful, not great. So I guess on a similar topic, we've been placing a lot of focus on our food. Around the house, trying to make sure that we're eating healthy, and it's been working out really well for me, and I'm finding new and exciting ways to do that. And I've been on this kick the last couple of weeks. It is not as easy as the internet would have you believe to make chicken nuggets.
Oh no! Do you have an air fryer?
I did until this morning when apparently it died. But yes, I do have an air fryer.
Okay, did you try doing the blending chicken, adding blah, 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 blah? Like,
yes. So the trouble with the air fryer is that it doesn't have enough space to make enough chicken nuggets from scratch for all of us, right? There's 4 of us. Technically 3 because John won't eat. The whatever I make, he will still stick with the Dino Nuggets. He'll try them, and I'm working on getting there. But I'm less. I want him to have as many calories as humanly possible. Right. The rest of us, working on
opposite. Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing them in the oven, and I tell you, tonight I have made several attempts. I think tonight was my. Tonight, I believe, was my 4th attempt.
47th attempt at a chicken. Okay.
I am trying to make them similar to chicken McNuggets.
Yep.
And now, if I were frying them, if I were deep frying them, that would be a horse of a different color.
You are not.
But I am not, because I'm baking them. I'm trying to avoid the oils. Tonight was the closest I've come to them. Like, they were genuinely good tonight.
Okay.
They could be better, but they were genuinely delicious tonight. I'm combining different recipes and trying different things. They came out really well. I've gotten very good at French fries.
Okay.
Again, French fries are great when you're making them yourself. The bagged French fries, there's all sorts of stuff and extra calories and stuff involved in those. But just potatoes in general are apparently very good.
Yes.
And the homemade fries, I'm getting real good at. And the trick to them that I have found is boiling them.
Yes.
like chopping up the fries, slathering them with stuff and throwing them in the deep fryer, it just never comes out the way you want them to. Chopping up the fries, boiling them, chopping up the fries, rinsing them thoroughly like 4 or 5 times, then boiling them just a little bit, just a skosh, then laying them out to dry between 2 towels, then covering them in oil and salt and a little bit of pepper, throwing them in the oven at 450 for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That is doing something to the starch in it. I don't know what. Yeah. And there's a thing. I just sent it off to Angela because starches, you digest them differently once they have cooled. So like, starch turns into a crystalline form once it cools, and your body does not digest it the same way. So it's technically like lesser calories or whatnot. An egregious amount, but your body processes it differently. So, potatoes, rice, there was another thing that if you can cool it and then, I mean, like literally like throw it in the fridge, cool it all the way down and then reheat them, that helps with the starch digestion process. Also, when it comes to potatoes, you need to break the starch down before if you're not going to add oil, you need to, right. Yeah, you need to break it down.
At least add a lot of oil. Like, I'm more than adding maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. And then, that's enough for the entire batch of fries for everybody. And those, I feel like I've got that down. I'm doing well with that. But it's the chicken nuggets. That's not easy. Like, It is way easier to just get a bag of frozen chicken nuggets and throw them in the air fryer. That's
all about the Costco. I was a giant, I ate like a 5-year-old chicken nuggets and French fries every day because it was simple. I also have stomach problems and I'm always worried about trying new things. So I found something that works, and it was not great for me, but not horrible. It wasn't like I was going out to McDonald's and eating double quarter pounders with cheese, which used to be my thing. The unfortunate part for me is that my brain works on the worst case was when I was 350 pounds. Like, that's the worst. Me, I'm not there. I'm not anywhere near that. But I'm still not where I should be to be married to the woman that I'm married to. If that makes sense. And
if you want to continue to be married to her and not dead.
Yes.
When we're at our age, we've really got to start paying attention to that stuff because, we are dudes. We get heart attacks. That's just that's the way shit goes.
I don't know if we had made mention about this before, but Angela is planning a trip to Japan in November. Okay. And I'm very happy for her. It's like a lifelong dream for her to go. She's going for 2 weeks. First week, her family, her brother and sister are going to be there. And then the second week, she's spending with one of her best friends who her and her husband live there now because he's in the military. It's a lifelong dream for her. And I'm staying home because I know it's not a good set of circumstances for me. So I don't want to ruin it for her, and I don't want her to worry about me. Go have a good time. You're setting yourself up for a blast. Here's the problem. When I'm not with my wife for a long period, I don't even say a long period of time, for any extended period of time, I start contemplating my own mortality. Like, every pain is a heart attack. I'm alone. God forbid something happens to me. Who's going to call the like, all of that shit snowballs in my brain, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do for 2 fucking weeks when her time frame is completely different than mine. I can't call her at noon and go, honey, I got a weird pain. I just want to make sure that I'm still alive.
Hit us up in the Brain Trust, Evan. That's what we're there for.
There we go. I appreciate
Brain
that.
Trust every day. We will be there. Lisa would get such a kick out of that because she's also, clearly I'm dying to like everything. So yeah, do that. It'll be great.
So there's that. Okay. I had back problems when I was younger, and I still have I have very bad tension in my shoulders. And I, as I'm sure you do as well, because of the lives we've led, you've gotten that pain in your shoulder in the back that works its way straight through to where your heart is. It's not your heart. It's a muscle thing.
Yeah, I've had that before.
But it just happens to be in the area which is your heart, which immediately, and it's not a heart attack, but your brain goes, hey, look, all of a sudden there's numbness in your hand. There's no numbness in your hand. Your brain did that.
Am I dying? Am I dead?
Do I smell toast? So, yeah. All try to just be better. I'm finding things that I like, paying attention to how much ketchup. I love fucking ketchup. If I just pay attention to how much I'm using, I cut down like 700 calories because, you know, it doesn't have to be drenched in ketchup. Just a serving. That's fine.
Biggest thing for me was cutting out most of my juicy juice. Just paying attention to how much juice I drink.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, and like the water additives from like Walmart or Target or wherever, it's just that it's 0 calorie. It's of course, you know, not real sugar, but like there's a blue raspberry one that I love. It's literally like for half, you know, like, so a quarter of a gallon, it's like, and that's it. That's the amount that I put in. It turns it blue and it makes it taste not like water, but it's not juicy juice level, but it gives it flavor so that it's not just bland, you know, bleh, all day long.
Yeah, see, I genuinely like the water, and I'm getting a lot of it from fruit too. Like, okay, I just
I'm an
keep
apple.
Especially over the summer, watermelon. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, I will get a whole watermelon and just down it in a week. Like, just chop the whole thing up and just down it in a week. That's
every day. Apple. I eat an apple every day, and 9 times out of 10 days I eat a bell pepper, like a whole bell pepper with my dinner, because usually it's a red or an orange because they're sweeter, but like I love the crunch, I love the sweetness. And
I'm picturing you as Chairman Kaga in the beginning of the old Iron Chef episodes. Just looking at the pepper, smiling at it, taking a bite. Yeah,
yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, I would do that. So I also found out
that's go ahead.
Nacho cheese has far less calories than creamy Italian dressing. Think about that for a fucking second. Salsa con queso has less calories than Italian dressing. Blew my fucking mind.
Well, creamy Italian dressing.
Yes, creamy Italian dressing. Excuse me. Yeah, and I used to eat a lot.
That's still surprising.
Yeah,
it's still surprising.
I used to eat a lot of American cheese because I love sliced American cheese. I used to put it on eggs and everything, and like every slice was like 100 calories. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. That's
barbecue sauce is fewer calories than honey mustard.
Yep. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That one surprised me too, because, you know, honey mustard dressing is like, well, it's salad dressing. I was like, no, it's barbecue sauce. Nope. Okay. Well, all right. Good times.
So
I'll still use the honey mustard dressing on my salads half the time, but this week I was doing Italian sub sandwiches for lunch, so I wasn't having afternoon salads before dinner. There's only so many salads I can eat in a day.
Yeah.
One salad a day, it's perfectly good. I'm into that. I've made salads that have brought me so much joy. But also, if I have more than one salad in a day, well, that's just too much salad.
What, am I, a fucking rabbit here? What's going on?
You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad.
All right, let's talk television.
Let's talk television. What have you been watching lately? That's enough of the Evan and Kris Fitness Hour. Yeah. What's on
you
TV?
You and Dan have your lawn care. So I have been doing. So I've been dabbling in a couple of different things. I've been doing a rewatch of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist because that show is phenomenal. This is more like my lunchtime watching because, you know, I put on something for like half hour. So Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. I'm just about done with season 2 again, so that's almost over. Watching quite a bit of Hazardous History. Have I mentioned this one before with Henry Winkler?
No.
Okay, so it is a docuseries in the vein of like The Toys That Made Us. Do you know that series?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like that, but this talks about how different the past was that with things that we did, or the toys that we played with, or the things that we just let our children do, the cars that we drove, like just how fucking ridiculous we did things in the past that we would never do now. Like the backward seats in a station wagon. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm like? You understand what I'm saying? And like the first episode,
the middle seat in a front row of a car.
Yeah. The first episode, which is like now it's like I'm on season 2. There's at least 15 episodes per season. The first episode, it was Henry Winkler talking about old toys and like lawn darts, My Simple Chemistry set, which had fucking uranium in it. Like, it was wild, the things that we did and that we all survived in some way, shape, or form. And having Henry Winkler talk about it, like fucking America's grandfather, like, he's amazing. Highly recommend this show. It's so much fun. So those are my filler shows. There was a buddy of mine asked me for a show called Tattoo Age because he's getting into tattooing. I watched a bunch of that, which is beautiful artwork. But my two main shows that I want to talk about that were things that Angela and I were supposed to watch together. I acquired them for us to watch together. I immediately backed out of one of them. Okay. It is August. Okay. August is the time where Shark Week becomes a thing. Okay. Now, I get all of my television entertainment via nefarious means, and I have been able to get a number of Shark Week things. They're just a bunch of shows showing up via Shark Week. I sat down for one episode. The first, what nefarious means are calling episode 1 of Shark Week 2026. It was called K-Pop Shark Heroes. Okay. It was hosted by Ken Jeong. Do you know that name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He fucking ruined Shark Week for me. It was the most moronic thing I had ever seen in the entirety of my life. I fucking hated him and sharks after this show. Okay. My brain was telling me that in the past there was one host that sort of bounced through a number of different shows, and I'm like, if fucking Ken is doing this, like, I'm never watching Shark Week ever again. And he's not the core host. There is no core host apparently, but it was so bad because it was him and this K-pop musical artist, and they were just hanging out with sharks, doing sound things, and like to say he's a cartoon version of a normal human puts down cartoons. Like, he was so fucking annoying. So that was it. I backed out. I'm never watching. I'm not this season of Shark Week is dead to me. Angela's still enjoying it, watching stuff in the background. Every time I walk into the living room, there's some sort of shark jumping out of fucking the water, and they're raiding it. And like, I walked in, and at one point in time, I don't know what type of sharks they were, but there was someone diving, and they were underneath these sharks. They were swimming. So there was person, layer of shark, top of water, and it was about to start raining. And the point of this science experiment was to see what would happen when it started raining, how the sharks would react. And I'm not a shark scientist, but I know that when the water gets disturbed, they're gonna think it's food, and they're gonna freak the fuck out, because that's what fish do. It's like common. And that's exactly what they did. I'm like, this is the level of shark. What happened to Shark Week? Okay. So she's enjoying it. I'm out. But the winner of shows for us this time around, a friend of hers from her job, we love horror in this house. Okay. We watch horror movies all the time because we like being scared. she was having a conversation with one of her coworkers. Don't know the guy's name, but he recommended a show called Widow's Bay. Okay, it is a. It's, I don't want to call it it's an episodical tale about in essence, a cursed island, and how the mayor of the island is a town, and it's about how the mayor is reacting to every fucking horrific thing that is happening on this island. It is so well done. It is a great cast of characters, and it is in essence a Monster of the Week kind of show, and they are really well done. Spooky as shit. So I highly recommend Widow's Bay. There's not a lot of, I mean, Stephen Root is in it. He would be the most well-known actor in the show. There's another guy, the lead actor is Matthew Rice, R-H-Y-S. I've seen him in a couple of different things. He's an English guy. He plays a lot of Americans. He's a recognizable face, but like he's not a famous actor. But he's the lead, and he is carrying the hell out of this show. He's doing a really, really good job. It's great. It's people that are stuck on this cursed island that every week a new horrific set of circumstances happens, and they have to react to this to keep everything at bay. And it's just, I don't want to say too much because there is a through line through the whole thing, even though it is a Monster of the Week kind of show. But it's like the basis of the show is the mayor is trying to make it a tourist trap or a tourist town. And Stephen Root is the previous mayor, and he's like, you know, this place is fucking cursed. You know, you shouldn't be doing this. And the other mayors, the new mayor's like, come on, stop it. You're a crazy old kook. None of that's real. And he is realizing slowly but surely, like, yeah, it's real. There's some shit going on in this town that, you know, you wouldn't want to bring new people into it. So it's so much fun. It's really, really enjoyable. And Angie and I are enjoying the hell out of that. Outside of that, not much else. I'm waiting for more Ted to come out before I start diving back into that, because God, that looks so good. I love Ted Lasso. But yeah, every once in a while I'll watch an episode of like last week tonight with John Oliver, because, you know, John fucking Oliver. Yeah, that's about it. I think, yeah. So avoid Shark Week and head over to Widow's Bay. That's my recommendation for the week. Oh, okay. So what do you got?
Well, let's see. I can't remember if we were on the air or off the air when I mentioned before, but I've been watching a lot of Law and Order. And when I say watching, I mean listening to, really, for the most part. But I do. It's on my phone. So I was kind of between shows, and then I landed back on Law and Order, which is one of my favorite background things. Mm-hmm. And I think the last time I was watching it, I left off around season 11-ish, and I'm in like season 14, I think now. Just been watching it pretty consistently. We're really in a good era of Law and Order right now. This is with Elizabeth Rom and Sam Watterson were the DAs, and Lenny, Jerry Orbach and Jesse Martin as the cops. Unfortunately, we're in Fred Thompson as the DA, and he's, you know, awful, but pretty sure he's dead. So,
wow.
Yeah, Fred Thompson is this very foghorn leghorn ultra Republican guy. Fred Thompson, let's see, he's and that's kind of like what he plays as the DA here. Like, we went from Diane Wiest, who was the DA before him, and then he picks up and he's just like at odds with everyone because he's this like super Republican foghorn leghorn
gotcha
kind of dude. Yeah, he died back in 2015. He actually I think he ran for president at a certain point.
Cool.
Yeah, He was just like, I'm going to get out of this acting job and get into politics because I'm a down home kind of guy. And he lost miserably because he's whatever.
So, Fred Thompson. So, like, I just looked him up, and he, at a certain point in time, he was like in every third thing.
Yeah. he was all over the place. But yeah, he was the DA on Law and Order for a few seasons. And, it worked. They made it work. Let's see, who replaced him? Who was after Fred Thompson? I can't remember because he was on there for a hot minute. Let's see.
I can't. I wish I could answer that question for you. I do not know. I did a lot of work for Law and Order, getting you them, but I've never watched it. After Serena, she gets replaced by Alexandra Borgia, who was she actually showed up in an earlier episode. Annie Parise, I think, was her name. She played a bit part in an earlier episode. That's one of the fun things about Law and Order is, you'll get like somebody in an episode, and then 5 years later they'll play a totally different character, but as a series regular. So it would be in the season 18 era. They changed over. Because, like, I just clicked through season 16, 17, and he kept showing up in the cast.
Yeah, was he, when our Lord and Savior Jeremy Sisto took over? Let's see.
Well, Jeremy Sisto is in season 18, so...
Yeah, he was a cop, so let's see.
Cyrus
District
Lubo.
Attorney, Assistant District, so that was, ADA... District Attorney Fred Thompson. All right, so I'm looking for District Attorney again.
How is Sam Waterston still alive? Is he still alive? Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crackers. I felt like he was
Linus Roosh. That doesn't sound right. Tony. All right, hold on. Okay. Season 18 through 20. Linus Roche. Who the hell is Linus Roche?
Linus Roche.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, but he was the Jack McCoy character. Was that when Jack took over as district attorney? I think that might have been it. Oh boy, this is going to drive me nuts. Because Jack eventually took over as district attorney, and it was fantastic because he was really acting like Adam Schiff, the first district attorney on the show, played by Stephen Hill.
Okay.
Just kind of a curmudgeon-y old man, and it was really neat seeing him kind of get to be that again. So let's see here. Let's go to season 20 was when we went off the air the first time, right? 2009. Season 20 was Jeremy Sisto, Anthony Anderson, Esapatha Mergerson, Linus Roche, who took over. Yeah, Sam Waterston was the district attorney. So when did that happen? Was he after Fred Thompson? I can't think of anybody else who would have been between there. Let's see, season 19, who was the district attorney? Oh, this is fun. I'm sure this is great podcast material.
I like when you talk about things excitedly, and it doesn't matter what it is. You are jazzed right now.
I am jazzed. I love Law and Order so much. Boopity boop boop boop. Let's see. Okay, so in season 19, he's listed as interim DA Jack McCoy.
Ooh.
So where did Fred Thompson lead off? Was he in season 18? Let's see. Let's go down to season 18, episode 18, Excalibur. He's still Sam Waterston is interim DA. So where did we start with season 18? Let's go to season 18, episode 1, Called Home. And what do we got? Interim DA Jack McCoy. So he was an interim DA for more than a season. That's weird. Where did Fred Thompson leave off? Season 17, episode 1, Alana de Garza. That's when she picked up as the... Yep, that was right. So DA Arthur Branch, that was Fred Thompson's character. Oh God, this was the season with Melina Govich. So they did one season, and I wish that I feel like they took the wrong lesson from this. After Jerry Orbach died, they replaced him with Dennis Farina, and that was okay. I don't love Dennis Farina in this part. He was, I don't know. I felt like the NBC was just like, we need to find another old guy that's similar to Jerry Orbach, and Dennis Farina, he just wasn't it. He was a little bit too sleazy, oily Italian for that role, but whatever. It was fine. The problem was after Dennis Farina left, they had their first female detective.
Okay.
Melina Govich. She was terrible.
Now,
and so they've never attempted to have another female detective as a main character on the show since. I don't know, I'm trying to look at her acting history. Like, when she was on this show, I remember us watching it, me and Karen watching them when these episodes were happening live and being like, is she related to somebody? Like, no professional should be this bad. Like, she was just...
Which actress are you talking about?
Melina Govich.
Okay. I've got. Go ahead, continue, because I'm looking to see a face, because now I'm just looking at it in giant cast.
She hasn't acted in anything since 2021. And nothing. She was in an episode of The Mentalist. She was in 2 episodes of Make It or Break It. But yeah, she was on Law and Order, and she was not good. I mean, she was in Rescue Me. I don't even remember her from that. I don't remember Rescue Me very well. That's a show I will never watch again. It was great, but nope, I can't do that again. No, thank you. That show was a fucking trip. But yeah, she was really bad, and I feel like they took the wrong lesson. Like, oh, people don't want a female detective. It's like, nah, it's not that. It's that she was really bad in that part. It was very upsetting.
What we don't want is bad actors or actresses in that part. That's it.
Like that's it. That said, the detective situation currently on Law and Order is great. What's the guy? Oh God, I can't remember his name. He's the guy who played friggin' James Olsen on Supergirl, because they wouldn't call him Jimmy Olsen, they called him James Olsen.
Oh.
And he's also Jax in the new Mortal Kombat movies. He's fantastic in Law and Order. He's just great.
Okay.
He's so good in the role. I love him, and his partner is
Makad Brooks is the actor's name. Jalen Shaw is
Makad Brooks. Yeah. And he's teamed up with what's this? What's going on here? David Ajala. Makad Brooks isn't going to be on the show next season this season. Season 26. Oh, so season 26 starts on October 8th, and he's been replaced with.
How do I only have one season of fucking Firefly? I'm sorry.
David Ajala is replacing him. Oh, that's a shame. I really liked Makad Brooks in this role. So who's this guy? Oh, he was in Fast and Furious 6.
Oh, no.
That's just what he's known for. Let's see. He showed up in, or will show up in, an episode of Law & Order SVU as the same character. It looks like we're going to do some sort of crossover at some point. Wait a second. Oh, so I didn't watch that. So he was a regular on a Star Trek Discovery. He did 33 episodes of Star Trek. So, okay. All right. Cool. I have not watched that one. Oh, my God. He was in Supergirl, too? Oh, that's too funny. He played Manchester Black in Supergirl, the same show that Makad Brooks was on.
Who is this actor's name?
His name is David Ajala.
Okay.
I don't recognize him. Like, he looks vaguely familiar. I'm sure I actually see him in action. Yeah, okay. Like, I'm looking at a closer up picture of him. I've definitely seen him in things. Mm-hmm. I've seen his face before. Okay. That's a bummer that we're losing Makad Brooks, but as long as it continues to be a cool dude in the role, I'm in.
I mean, even if it's not a cool dude in the role, you're still in. It's Law and fucking Order. You're not going anywhere.
They change cast members in Law and Order when they don't work. That girl detective, she was only in like a season and a half. Like that was they booted her nice and quick. They just replaced the lieutenant. That one actually made me really happy because the woman that was playing the lieutenant previously was oh God, what the hell was that show? Boston Legal, I think she was on. God, I can't remember her name. I've never liked her and stuff. She's just not my cup of tea. Let's see.
Gotcha.
There we are. Season 21. I can picture her. I don't know her name. Cameron Manheim. She played Lieutenant Kate Dixon, and yeah, I didn't like her at all because I haven't liked her in really much of anything. The Practice is probably what she's best known for. She was in The Practice for a long time. But they replaced her with Maura Tierney, and I've always liked Maura Tierney. Like back in I think she was on News Radio. She was on ER for a long time. Maura Tierney's great, and so now she's the lieutenant.
What's funny is
that
Cameron. She's played. I recognize her. I've seen her in a lot of things, but she's always playing the same person. Like I don't know if that's her actual personality. You know, like how Dwayne Johnson just acts as Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, right. He's just The Rock.
Yeah, but yeah, she has played the same character over and over and over again because she was in like Ghost Whisperer. I recognized her from that. Like, so. Yep.
I'm just confirming News Radio. I might be. Yep, that was her.
No, I know. Yeah,
News
the other
Radio.
woman is from News Radio.
Yeah. God, I haven't watched that show in ages. I watched that show when it was on reruns. I never watched it like when it was happening, but I remember, I think it was like after high school, but like when I wasn't quite in college, News Radio was on during the day, and I remember watching that all the time. That was a great show.
It was. It gave legs to certain people that should not have legs nowadays.
Yes,
that?
It's certainly made Joe Rogan a household name.
Yeah, it did.
Sigh. But anyway, I'm very much enjoying Law and Order. I still got it on the background while I'm doing exercises in the morning and stuff. It's a wonderful show, and I will keep watching it until it stops being a thing. And then when it's over, I'll just start all over again because
no, you'll go over
so
to West
many
Wing.
of them.
I'll go where? You'll go to West Wing, watch that again.
Nah, I'm out of West Wing for a while. I watched that pretty recently. I like to give that one a couple of years before I watch West Wing again. If anything, I'll go back to Sports Night. That's one of my go-tos.
That makes sense.
Sports Night, maybe Newsroom. Like I when I'm in a Sorkin mood, I tend to like lean towards those two.
But when are you not in a Sorkin mood? Come on, it's Sorkin.
It's a good point. I do very much enjoy Aaron Sorkin TV. I also mentioned Ted Lasso is back. I thought the first episode was great.
Cool.
I think people on the internet are just dumb or mean, or I don't know, because like there was a lot of negativity. Like, yeah, the first episode was just fine. I watched it, I laughed out loud several times, and then these the same people are just like season 3 was kind of trash. Like, okay, well, you
Kris,
and me clearly don't have the same thought processes because
the show is now worse because it's about a woman's team. It's factual.
Yeah, but people didn't like season 3 either. Apparently, there is a contingent of people that thought season 3 was bad, and I don't understand it. I thought season 3 was great. I love all 3 seasons of Ted Lasso, and the first episode of this is also... I mean, it's weird because the first episode is entirely in Kansas.
Oh, okay.
So that's really weird, but it works. So I don't know. I'm in. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back. That show is fantastic. They had a very... What I love about Star Trek, and this show it handles it very well, is that it can be so many things.
Okay.
Like, it can just... One week was a straight-up horror, and the next week was a straight-up comedy.
Okay.
And the comedy didn't hit... I don't think it was as good an episode as it should have been. They tried. But it wasn't the smashing success that I would hope for from from funnier episodes of Strange New Worlds. it was still very good and had some very, very good moments. And the season's been great so far because this show is always great. I absolutely love this show. It's probably my favorite Star Trek has been ever.
Really?
Granted, I know Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine was my favorite, and I haven't rewatched it since I was young when it aired. But I remember loving that show, and it's one of those things that's hard for me to go back and rewatch now because I don't know it well enough to background watch it. Mm-hmm. So, like, I started rewatching Next Generation, which, again, I hadn't seen since I was a kid, and I loved it. And I start rewatching it, and then I had to stop because I was watching it. Like, it's like, crap, I can't work and do this because I need to be paying attention to it. But it's also, like, not the kind of show I can have on while I'm exercising, like, because it's calming, you know. It's sort of if I'm on the treadmill and it's like it will start to feel boring because it's antithetical to the adrenaline that is running through my system. So I'm kind of a weird place with it. It's okay. I don't need to rewatch every show I've ever loved. But Strange New Worlds
it's better that
is.
You don't. Unfortunately, Strange New Worlds I just saw is this is its final season.
I think the next one is
It's got an end date of 2027.
Yeah, so I think this season's going to end before that. I think the 2027 season is going to be a different season than the one that we're in.
Okay.
Because we are in... We are in season 4. Yeah, we're in season 4, and it's ending with season 5. Okay. Which just it says 2027 on it. And that's fine. 5 seasons, that's good. I mean, a Star Trek show can run forever, but...
Doesn't have to.
I'm perfectly good with shows running their course. I love that.
I just realized that the only real Star Trek thing that I ever got heavily invested in was Lower Decks. And
that was great.
I just realized I haven't seen that in a while, and I didn't realize that it was canceled a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, that was tragic. That show shouldn't have been canceled. That show is great, and it's a cartoon, so it should just go on forever. Whatever.
Yeah, what do we know?
Whatevs. I'm sure whatever they do next, I will also attempt to enjoy, because I've always liked Star Trek, and I never watched Discovery. That one completely passed me by. Maybe someday I'll go back and try to watch it. I hear that show is very, very strange. I also didn't give Voyager much of a chance back in the old days.
There's so much Star Trek. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's funny, like, yes, there's a lot of Star Wars as well, but I feel like if you just go, like, standalone, like if you counted an episode of Star Trek as one thing, there's more single things of Star Trek than there are of Star Wars, and that's saying something.
It's possible. It's possible, because those, Next Gen ran for ages, and those were all hour episodes, and that's a hell of a show. Next Gen really does hold up better than you'd think. And I'm sure Deep Space Nine does too. Deep Space Nine was so interesting because it was such a different take, right? Because Star Trek was always about, here's a crew on a ship and we go to different places. And then Deep Space Nine was like, we're just going to turn this on our heads. Instead, this is going to be a stationary space station.
Right.
And the weird alien stuff will come to us. And it had such a great... Deep Space Nine was so good. Anyways, Strange New Worlds continues to be wonderful. Since the last time we recorded, I had you track down the Dragon Ball Z Westwood dub, which has been an interesting experience, to say the least.
It's wild how much anime I have on my server that I just... So my nephew and my brother came to visit, and at one point I put on... What the fuck did I put on? I was working, and I had some anime on, and... My nephew came in and, like, I realized, like, no, he should not. He can't see this. Like, this, yes, it is a cartoon, but no, this is not for you. I'm going to look and see what I was actually watching. But go ahead, you West.
All right, so here's the thing. When I first discovered Dragon Ball Z, was when it was airing here in North America for the first time. The Ocean was the company. They call it the Ocean dub, but it was airing on Philly 57 on Sunday mornings, and I absolutely loved it. It was a bunch of Canadian voice actors that were doing it. The show was censored to all hell because Dragon Ball, as a property, is both wonderful and terrible. I was just having this conversation with with Ellie, and one of her friends Scarlett, was over, and they were talking a little bit of anime. I'll get to that in a minute. We're talking about Dragon Ball, and she's like, I tried reading some of the Dragon Ball manga, and I was like, yeah, that show's not nice to women, huh? And she was like, no, like, yeah, there's a lot of, it's great, but it's terrible. And therein kind of lies some of the problems with Dragon Ball of like, I want to show it to the kids, but there's some really bad shit in it. Like, Master Roshi is a fucking problem.
Yes.
Like, that character is like, it does the thing that anime does so much, and I think Master Roshi is kind of the poster child for this character archetype of the creepy old man who pervs on young girls, and it's played off as comedy instead of freaking sexual assault. Yes. Like, he should be in jail. It reminds me of a great joke from Dragon Ball Z Abridged where somebody said they were all in a mall and it was like you got kicked out of Victoria's Secret. Like, how did they know who you were? And he goes, you think Master Roshi's my real name? Oh, shit cracks me up. Dragon Ball Abridged is great. But yeah, it's a bit challenging. So when it originally aired, they edited the hell out of it. They took out Master Roshi's
that's the Ocean
love
dub
of porn and stuff. That's the Ocean dub, and it was done by these Canadian voice actors who were in several other things from the age. Most notably, a lot of the same voiceovers were the people who voiced over another one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, Transformers Beast Wars.
Okay.
A lot of those same characters played voices in Dragon Ball Z, and I love those voices. So that went up until when the characters get to Namek, like the second major arc, right? They finished doing the things with the Saiyans, the second major arc, which builds up to the villain Frieza. They started that, and then they lost it, and Funimation took over.
Okay.
And like right in the middle of a fight with these two characters, Burter and Jace. Yes, butter and cheese, because everything's named after foods in Dragon Ball, sort of. When Goku is fighting those two characters, in the middle of that fight, the episodes changed over to Funimation, and all the voices were different.
Ooh.
They were trying to emulate the Ocean voices to an extent, but they eventually kind of became very much their own things. And that's when the show took on a very different life. Funimation had a much lower budget, so everything was like the sound quality was different. Because when Ocean was doing it, they added new music. They tried to alter it in ways that made characters like Master Roshi a little bit more acceptable. But also they added some very strange things to try to add lore that didn't exist. Like there's this really famous line where Vegeta, who was the villain in the first major arc, he's like the big bad, and he does this thing where, because the space aliens, the Saiyans, that's what Goku is, they transform into giant apes when they see a full moon, and Vegeta has this ability, just makes a fake moon, because Piccolo, another character, blew up the moon in Dragon Ball because nothing makes sense in Dragon Ball. You can just, I'm just going to blow up the moon so nobody can transform anymore. That's not going to have any negative effects on, everything. So there was no moon, so Vegeta is able to make an energy ball that replicates moonlight so that he can transform. And in the North American dub of the Ocean dub of the show, he talks about how Goku's dad invented this technology, because he says, your father may have been an average fighter, Kakarot, but he was a brilliant scientist. And Bardock, Goku's dad, canonically exists in Dragon Ball, and he was very much not a brilliant scientist. So it's just one of those weird things they tried to add as lore that just never existed. But regardless, that's how I started Dragon Ball. And I love that the production value that they put into it, even if some of the things are very strange. Like, they couldn't show actual killing on that show. So, like, when Nappa and Vegeta come to Earth and they start just blowing up buildings, they always throw in a line about, like, oh, it's a shame that it's a Sunday. That building would have been full of people any other day of the week. Or they blow up a plane and another character says off screen, I can see their parachutes, they'll be okay. Oh my god. At a certain point, Goku goes to hell and he has to, like, contend with a couple of these big buff demon dudes who he outsmarts to get out of hell, but they changed hell to HFIL, the Home for Infinite Losers.
Oh, Jesus.
And they just whited out the letters on their shirts, that because they would wear these white shirts that just said hell on them, and they whited out the pieces of the letters to make it the HFIL. Oh, it was brilliant. They just the way they edited this show was
using that word a little too loosely.
Brilliant. I mean, come on. It's so brilliant. So Funimation takes over and everything changes. What I found out several years ago was that the Ocean dub kind of sort of continued in other parts of the world, and I was like, what the hell? So I'd asked you a couple of years ago to find more of the Ocean dub to throw on the Plex, and you found like a couple of scattered episodes on YouTube. That was it. Because what I didn't know is that it wasn't more of the Ocean dub. It was a different company called Westwood, also a Canadian company, that then rehired most of the original voice actors that did the older Dragon Ball Z with Ocean to reprise their roles. Goku was different, but Vegeta was the same, Tien was the same, Yamcha was the same, Krillin was the same. And these voices changed a lot when Funimation took over. And I love these voices, especially like Vegeta has such a strange voice for that character where he goes later in the series. So Westwood actually picks up way later in like the following series, the following major arc when they're dealing with androids, which leads up to Cell. This is after Frieza. So there's this huge chunk between Ocean and Westwood that just never got dubbed with these voice actors.
Okay.
But the Westwood dub it's been really neat watching it because it's hearing those old voice actors be these characters again in a totally different context.
So it's wild.
But,
it's wild to me that you say, found a couple of episodes here or there. Now, I have, yet again, this is not me complaining in any way, shape, or form before I say this, but I don't have any basis of knowledge for what is or what should be in a complete series or season of Dragon Ball Z. So at one point in time, I was just grabbing things that said the word Dragon Ball in the title, and I just grab them for you. So it turned out, I'm just going to go through the Dragon Ball has 6 seasons. Dragon Ball, just that's it. Yeah. 6 seasons, 153 episodes. Dragon Ball Daima has one season, 20 episodes. Dragon Ball GT,
that's the most recent one.
Okay, Dragon Ball GT has 3 seasons, 64 episodes. Dragon Ball Super, 5 seasons, 131 episodes. And now, Dragon Ball Z, proper, 9 seasons, 291 episodes. Dragon Ball Z Ocean Cut, 219 episodes. Dragon Ball Z Westwood, 169 episodes. So you saying anything of me just grabbing an episode, that's a lot of fucking Dragon Ball.
It is. And like I said, this was years ago before you found the Westwood one, because I was asking for more Ocean. And so you said that you were able to find a few things on, like few runs of it on YouTube. But that was all that was kind of out there. What's really interesting about the Westwood stuff, though, and what's kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to watch, is that the production value is way lower.
Okay.
And Westwood is also the same company that did that old Mega Man cartoon.
Ooh, okay.
So, which also featured a lot of those same voice actors. The same people who did the Ocean dub were also involved in that Mega Man cartoon. this show features music from the Mega Man cartoon. Like, the theme song from the Mega Man cartoon is repurposed in Dragon Ball Z. And it's freaking bizarre, because I used to watch the hell out of that Mega Man show. And now, like, Goku and everyone are getting ready to fight the androids, and when they're flying off, it starts going, and I'm like, that's the Mega Man theme song. It's got lyrics, and it
says Mega Man a lot.
So
for some
weird.
reason.
It does. Super Fighting Robot Mega Man. It's so weird. But that was a fun trip. I watched a bunch of those episodes. I don't know that I'm going to keep going through it, because it's like, it's odd. The voice for Vegeta is the weirdest thing, because like that was the voice that was probably the most different from the Japanese version, with the exception of Goku, who is literally played by an old woman in the Japanese Dragon Ball.
Okay.
She voiced him when he was a kid, Goku, and then they just had her continue to voice the character. Like, when Goku grew up, he still sounded like a little kid, for reasons unknown to me, and they just stuck with that. And now this woman's in like her 80s or something, and she's still voicing Goku in the show. And like, she sounds great, but it's like, it's weird. That's just one of those weird things. Vegeta, on the other hand, this version, like the voice that they got, the guy does for Vegeta in the original Ocean dub, kind of fit the character. Like, it fit the character, I think, really well for what he was when the character was first introduced. Mm-hmm. But as the show went on, Vegeta's, like, as a character kind of seemed to change. And I always thought that voice coming out of that version of the character would be very strange. Okay. And it is. Because in the Japanese one, he's got what you would expect, a very deep voice. And the guy who voiced him in the Ocean dub, he kind of talked like this. It was very high-pitched. He's the voice who did the, it's over 9,000! Like, that meme is from the Ocean dub. He had this very, like, kind of weird, squeaky-ish voice. And it really worked for the character the way he was drawn in those first seasons, because he was very, like, scrawny, like a very thin neck kind of, like, character, and then eventually he just got beefier and beefier as the show went on. Mm-hmm. So watching the Westwood dub and hearing that voice come out of that character is very interesting. They did this really cool thing. In Dragon Ball Super, there was like this side story, like a little side arc that happened for a little bit, where a couple of characters wound up going to this planet, and there was this, like, alien thing that would basically be a doppelganger, mm-hmm. and they did that to Vegeta. And when they did the North American dub, they had the guy that did Vegeta's voice from the Ocean dub play the doppelganger. So you got both the Funimation and the Ocean versions of Vegeta in the same episode. I thought that was a really cool little nod to the fans there. What's
funny is I'm looking, so the guy who you're the actor who's doing the voice for Vegeta that you're mentioning, his name is Brian Drummond.
That's the Funimation guy, yeah.
Right, and I was just looking through his credits, and he voiced Wolverine a bunch of times. Like, interesting. Logan, Fuzzy Gumbo Paws. Like, I love looking at like IMDb listings for voice actors to see how far and wide they work is just it's wild to me to see.
Oh yeah, no, he is the Ocean guy. Who's the guy that plays him? Who's the guy that plays Vegeta in Funimation? That's going to drive me bonkers. Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta is Christopher Sabat. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Brian Drummond did tons of voices in various things that I loved him in. Any hoozles. Speaking of anime, the last thing I'll talk about is Ellie's friend Aurora had been talking to her about watching an anime series called Demon Slayer for a long time. Mm-hmm. And Ellie and I finally started watching it. We are 2 episodes in.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I had not seen it before. I had heard of it many times. I've seen the characters, in various things over the years, but I had never watched it. And this is the first new anime series I've watched in a long time. And it's fun because Ellie's really enjoying it. And I'm pretty much enjoying it. And it's like, oh, cool. This is something else that Ellie and I can kind of connect on. She's like, I don't know. I think I might be an anime girl because she not that it is anime, but she kind of fell in love with K-pop Demon Hunters last year, and that's anime adjacent. But
yes.
Demon Slayer is proper anime, and she really enjoys it. And I'm looking at like, okay, I might be able to use this as a bridge because I really want her to watch Inuyasha. I think she would get a real kick out of that show, and I loved Inuyasha.
You're not going to bring out Fooly Cooly or anything like that? Come on now.
Fooly Cooly is not kid appropriate. Fooly Cooly isn't adult appropriate. Fooly Cooly is not human appropriate. That is like the most inappropriate show I think I've ever seen in my life. That show is
I will
bazonkers.
never forget you making us watch that for this show and me going, what the fuck am I watching?
To be fair, I warned you. It was insane. To be fair, that show is completely fucking bananas.
Yep.
But I love that show. I do. That first season, it's very nostalgic for me, and it's mostly comes down to the music, but just the artistry of that show. As insane and grotesque as it is, I just think as a piece of art, it is outstanding. But I would love for her to watch Trigun. I would love for her to watch Cowboy Bebop. I think when she's a little older, I might throw those at her. But I think
that's the movie Trigun. That's what I had on when my nephew came into the room, and it was like a rough, there's a lot of gun violence in that show, or in that movie. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Like, whoa, you stop looking, close your eyes. click.
Yeah, Trigun is about my favorite in anime. I think the Trigun might just be my favorite, with the exception of Dragon Ball, which is just an obsession. But Trigun was is an extraordinary show, and it does everything. It delivers everything that I think that anime can deliver so brilliantly well, because the first chunk of the show is almost pure comedy. Mm-hmm. And then it just takes this 90-degree turn in this one scene. Like, you can always sense that there's something else in the background. Like, there is... Vash the Stampede has this... There's something else. There's a sadness in that character. And then this event happens, like, halfway through the show. And the tone shifts. And it's so good and so meaningful because of how lighthearted the beginning of the show was. And, like, they build to it beautifully. It's such a wonderful show. And of course, I love Cowboy Bebop as well. But Inuyasha, so she's enjoying Demon Slayer. She thinks the demon aspect is cool. She likes the violence.
Your kid,
and
come on, Ellie.
Yeah, come on. Ellie. She does love the evil. But it's also throws a bit of comedy at her. So we're gonna stick with it for a few more episodes. I really want to see what it is that she likes about this show. But Inuyasha is also a show about demons and stuff like that. But it's a little more soap opera-esque, but it also has the main character is a 15-year-old girl. So I feel like that's a connecting point for Ellie. Like that would be I think she might like Kagome.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. Inuyasha also has some of that, like, older guy pervy stuff happening in it from time to time. Like, it's just part of Japanese culture, I guess.
So I have a question. So the Ocean dub for Dragon Ball Z. So you're saying that that's the one that edited it to remove some of that? Most of the inappropriate Master Roshi stuff has been changed. And that was via the Ocean dub. Question. Yes. Okay. So if you wanted to show Dragon Ball Z to a kid, that's the way you do it. Okay, because now a buddy of mine asked me to. So my wife's best friend Travis, he loves Naruto. Like he said that like that shit changed his life, kind of thing. And Naruto is a very expansive universe as well as a lot of episodes. He asked me to grab. They have an Ocean cut as well, but I don't know if there's the same inappropriateness, but it is definitely a trimmed down. It removed the fluff of the show. Right. Is Ocean dub a thing? I'll call it a company or a studio that goes through and fucking trims the fat on classic.
So Ocean
anime?
is that's not really what they do per se. Ocean's purpose was to make it viable for TV, like North American TV.
Got it.
That was basically the point of it. Naruto has less of that in it to begin with.
Okay.
Like there is, of course, some of it, but not Master Roshi. As far as I remember, it's been a long time since I've watched Naruto, but I don't remember there being a Master Roshi level of inappropriateness in that show.
So they just trimmed fat on it to make it so that it flowed on television, on American television. Right. Got it.
Because the Ocean dub cuts a ton out of the first season or so of Dragon Ball Z, because like the filler in the first season of Dragon Ball Z is actually kind of hard to get through. There is a lot of Gohan lost in the woods running away from dinosaurs, and it's like, okay, I get it, but Kid Gohan is not as interesting as Kid Goku was, because like they were trying to. It was a sequel series to Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball was a lot of Goku as a kid exploring things. Like, that was what Dragon Ball was. Mm-hmm. It was more of a comedy show. And Dragon Ball Z kind of started off kind of picking up where Dragon Ball left off. Like, the point was that now this is going to be adult Goku and Gohan's story. But Gohan is kind of a crybaby. He's the opposite of what Goku was as a kid. Goku as a kid was a hilarious and interesting character because he was extremely strong, didn't realize he was extremely strong. He grew up in the woods, didn't know anything about technology or anything. So he'd like go places, and like, you know, the first time he saw Bulma was the first time he'd ever seen a girl. So the first episode, like the first couple episodes, he lifts up her skirt and starts screaming like, "What the hell is that?" Like, that's the comedy. It like gets a bit inappropriate, but it's also like, that's the joke. It came from a place of innocence. Goku had never seen a girl before in his life, so he had no idea what was going on. Like,
Gotcha.
Dragon Ball is not good to women. It is very unkind to women.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Demon Slayer has been interesting so far. Like I said, we're only 2 episodes in, but I'm looking forward to watching more of it. Ellie also chose to watch it in Japanese.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So we're watching it on Netflix.
Is she reading it, or is she just watching it?
Yeah, we're reading it. We've got subtitles on. We're reading the episodes as they go. Ellie is an excellent reader.
Great.
She was,
fantastic.
Top in her class for reading.
That's awesome. So in case any of our listeners are still here, and they don't understand how big of a fan Kris is of Dragon Ball, I just want to chime in and let everyone know that I have Dragon Ball Z Abridged on my Plex. And that is my only viewing of Dragon Ball, has been the Abridged. Watching that, Sensobean, like, I will never, it was fantastic. But not only do I have that one, which is I think a rip from YouTube, Kris spent the time and the energy to build his own edit of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and that is also on the service. Hours and hours of videos cobbled together to have the proper Dragon Ball Z Abridged. That's how much this motherfucker loves
I love Dragon Ball Z Abridged so much. I really like listening to it. It's one of those things I can always have on in the background. And I like the way Plex, like, it's split up into these tiny episodes on YouTube, but it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, an episode ends and you got to go through all this intro stuff. So I just took all of it and I put the movies in chronological order within the episodes to the best of my ability. It's just something. The movies in Dragon Ball don't exist. Like, they are a totally separate continuity. They cannot exist within the timeline of the show. They can almost fit in Abridged, but not quite, and it's fine. But I just wanted to make them into, like, all right, this whole arc into one thing, so I can watch.
Just put it on and
45 minutes of it, and then I can pick back up on the Plex and pick up exactly where I left off without having to go through the YouTube nonsense of, like, these little bitty individual episodes. That's what I edited together and Evan has on the Plex, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah.
But this has been fun. We should probably wrap things up. We've been talking for a long time, and it's time to call it a night. So, with that, This week's episode is not filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you. You can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk, and of course the regular Geekade social media accounts linked to in the show notes. The show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, subscribe, and leave reviews, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on Geekade for more fresh, original content. So we'll be back in, let's see, August. So we'll be back in November with our next episode of this. I was just looking at shows that are existing around this time that could be fun to talk about, and I was going to suggest Ted Lasso, but that ends in October. Mm-hmm. Not that would be a terrible thing.
I mean, we will
show.
Talk about it. So here's the thing: like the last episode that we did, we didn't really discuss. We didn't say X-Men, did we?
Right, exactly. Okay. We didn't know what our next topic was going to be, and we'll do that again this time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right now, my vote's Ted Lasso, but we'll see if something better comes along.
I'm 100% on board with that. I'm going to do my best to I am getting a little tired of the standard social medias with, it's just a harsh reality out there. And I think I'm going to spend a little more time on the Geekade Discord, just talking to people that I like to talk to. So I will be paying attention to the television aspects of our Discord a little bit more. And, when we figure out what we're talking about, we'll chime in there to make sure that everybody's on board and we're all on the same channel, if you will. See what I did there?
Yes, indeed. And I totally forgot to do that again. I was going to post about it. Does any listener feedback for this week's... I'm good at it with SAG. I'm not good at it here.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Let's not kid ourselves. This is an excuse for you and I to talk for 2.5 hours. If someone listens, someone listens. That's great.
That is true.
Okay.
That's a good point. All right. Well, with that, it's time for me to hit the hay, because I got to get up in the morning and go to the gym, and then I'm on vacation.
Whoa.
I get to take a vacation, an actual vacation. With no podcasting, no Stone Age Gamer, no Geekade, no nothing.
So I don't have to edit this weekend?
Next weekend.
Oh, fuck.
I'm leaving on Saturday. So I will be recording tomorrow night, but then the following Friday, no show.
Cool. That's 2. Wow. Are the fans going to be okay? That's 2 this year.
I know, but you know what? It is what it is.
All right.
It is what it is. All right, thanks everybody for listening. I'm Kris.
I'm Evan.
And good night.
And this concludes our broadcast day.